Facebook to send Chief Tech Officer to face UK lawmakers. Facebook Incorporated's Chief Technology Officer Mike Schroepfer will give evidence to UK lawmakers in late April, in the wake of allegations that information on millions of its users was misused. Facebook's Chief Executive Officer Mark Zuckerberg said in March that he will not appear before a UK parliamentary committee to give evidence after Damian Collins, the head of the committee, invited Zuckerberg to answer for a catastrophic failure of process. Schroepfer will give evidence on April 26, following appearances earlier in the month from Alexander Nix, the former CEO of Cambridge Analytica, and Alexander Kogan, the senior associate at Cambridge University, according to a statement from the UK government Friday. Facebook has been under pressure since the revelations that vast swathes of data were held by British firm Cambridge Analytica, after it was obtained from a researcher who shared the data without the social network's permission. Kogan was allowed to get information on as many as 87 million people from 270,000 users who downloaded his quiz app. He later transferred the data to political consulting firm Cambridge Analytica, which worked on Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. Regulators across the world are now investigating the depth of the data leak. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission is looking into whether Facebook violated a 2011 decree that requires the company to get consent from users before sharing information, while the U.K.'s Information Commissioner's Office, which is leading the probe in Europe, is combing through the evidence it collected during a search of the offices of Cambridge Analytica on March 23. Facebook's Sheryl Sandberg on data privacy fail: "We were way too idealistic." After weeks of remaining conspicuously out of sight, Facebook Chief Operating Officer Sheryl Sandberg told NPR's Steve Inskeep that she doesn't know if companies other than Cambridge Analytica exploited users' private data without their consent. "We don't know," she said, leaning into a black leather swivel chair at the company's headquarters in Menlo Park, California, on Thursday. Sandberg said Facebook has launched an investigation and audit to determine whether user information has been compromised by other firms. "As we find those, we're going to notify people," she said. The interview with NPR is part of an intense damage control tour the company has undertaken to respond to users, politicians, and regulators who are outraged to learn that for years, Facebook had left people's personal information open for mining by third-party app developers. Chief Executive Officer Mark Zuckerberg is scheduled to testify at congressional hearings next Tuesday and Wednesday. Sandberg outlined some of the steps the company is taking to repair the damage. On Monday, Facebook will begin notifying the 87 million users whose information may have been compromised and given to Cambridge Analytica, a data mining firm used by the Trump campaign. "But," she said, "the company will not be making the same kind of individual outreach to the some 126 million Facebook users who were exposed to Russian disinformation, including through the use of pages and accounts linked to a troll factory."